Louisiana is facing the aftermath of a rare and devastating winter storm that brought widespread ice, dangerously low temperatures, and significant damage across much of the state. The extreme cold, part of a powerful weather system impacting large areas of the United States, created hazardous road conditions, widespread power outages, and tragic loss of life, prompting emergency declarations and large-scale response efforts from state and local authorities. The Louisiana Department of Health has confirmed 8 storm-related deaths. Officials report that the fatalities were caused by hypothermia, power outages affecting life-sustaining medical equipment, and traffic accidents on icy roads. Among the victims was a 79-year-old woman whose oxygen concentrator failed during a prolonged power outage, and a 46-year-old man who lost his life in a crash caused by treacherous driving conditions. Additional deaths, reported in Sabine and Franklin parishes, are suspected to be linked to hypothermia during extended outages. Authorities continue to investigate other potential storm-related fatalities as hazardous conditions persist across the region. State police and the Louisiana Department of Transportation issued urgent travel warnings, urging residents to avoid all non-essential travel. Officials emphasized that road conditions were extremely dangerous and that travel should be delayed until crews could restore safer conditions. One of the most severe transportation impacts occurred along Interstate 20 in northern Louisiana. Ice accumulation and dozens of stalled commercial vehicles brought the key east-west corridor to a complete standstill between Arcadia and Ruston. Hundreds of drivers, including long-haul truckers, were stranded in sub-freezing temperatures for more than 30 hours as emergency crews worked to clear the roadway. In response, the Louisiana National Guard, along with DOTD crews and state police, was deployed to assist stranded motorists, deliver supplies, and use heavy equipment to remove disabled vehicles. However, persistent ice and refreezing conditions continued to slow recovery efforts well into Tuesday. Elsewhere across the state, secondary highways and rural roads were also heavily impacted. Ice-covered bridges, black ice, and overnight refreezing led to numerous accidents and further complicated emergency response operations. Beyond transportation, the storm placed severe stress on trees and vegetation across many communities. While reports of exploding trees are not supported by scientific evidence, experts explain that rapid temperature drops can cause internal pressure as moisture inside trees freezes, resulting in loud cracking sounds and sudden limb failures. Neighboring Mississippi has also been struggling with the aftermath of this historic winter storm. Freezing rain and ice accumulation exceeding 1 inch in some areas left roads and bridges dangerously slick, delaying recovery efforts and emergency responses. The storm severely damaged the electrical grid, leaving more than 180,000 customers without power at its peak. Although some service has been restored, approximately 143,700 residents remained without electricity according to the latest state reports. Heavy ice brought down trees and power lines, damaging homes, farms, and critical infrastructure across dozens of counties. Mississippi officials have confirmed multiple storm-related deaths. Governor Tate Reeves announced additional fatalities in Alcorn and Leflore counties, bringing the statewide total to 4. These deaths have been attributed to exposure to extreme cold, vehicle accidents on icy roads, and falling tree limbs. Meteorologists say this event is part of a broader North American winter system that combined Arctic air with moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, producing unusually severe conditions across the Deep South. As temperatures begin a slow recovery in the coming days, officials stress that cleanup and restoration efforts remain critical to ensuring public safety.
Inside homes across Louisiana, families huddled together under blankets, burning what little fuel they had to stay warm. Elderly residents, many living alone, faced especially terrifying conditions. With no electricity, no heat, and no way to call for help, every passing hour became more dangerous than the last. For some, life-saving medical equipment went silent when the power failed, turning a cold night into a fatal one. Parents tried to shield their children from fear, telling stories by flashlight, rationing food, and listening anxiously to the sound of ice cracking outside. That sound, sharp, sudden, and echoing through the night, became a symbol of the storm's violence. Trees split apart under pressure, branches crashed onto roofs and cars, and each loud snap reminded residents that help was still far away. On the highways, the situation was even more harrowing. Interstate 20, a major artery of the state, became a frozen trap. Hundreds of drivers were stranded for more than a day in sub-freezing temperatures, trapped inside vehicles with dwindling fuel and supplies. Truck drivers slept sitting upright, unsure when they would move again. Some motorists ran out of food and water, relying on the kindness of strangers and emergency crews battling the same icy conditions. First responders worked tirelessly, often risking their own safety to reach those in need. State police, transportation crews, and National Guard units pushed through ice-covered roads to deliver blankets, food, and hope. Yet even with these efforts, the storm moved faster than recovery. Ice refroze overnight, undoing hours of hard work and leaving entire communities cut off once again. The emotional toll has been immense. Residents describe feelings of fear, frustration, and helplessness. In a state unaccustomed to extreme winter weather, many felt unprepared and overwhelmed. The cold didn't just freeze roads and power lines, it froze daily life, turning simple tasks into dangerous risks and ordinary nights into tests of endurance. As temperatures slowly begin to rise, the scars of the storm remain visible. Downed trees block streets, homes bear the damage of fallen limbs and shattered lines, and families mourn loved ones lost to exposure, accidents, and power failures, losses that feel especially painful because they came so suddenly. This storm is a reminder that nature does not need hurricanes to be deadly in Louisiana. Ice, silence, and cold can be just as destructive. And yet, amid the chaos, stories of resilience continue to emerge. Neighbors checking on neighbors, strangers sharing supplies, and communities refusing to face the cold alone. Louisiana is thawing, but recovery will take time. The ice will melt, but the memory of this storm and the lessons it carries will remain long after the roads are clear. Stay informed, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay safe. When a severe winter storm strikes, survival becomes a matter of awareness, patience, and community. Across Louisiana, residents have been forced to adapt quickly to conditions they are not used to facing. In moments like these, people learn that how they act can mean the difference between safety and tragedy. Families stay indoors, understanding that the greatest danger often lies outside. Roads may look passable, but beneath a thin layer of ice, a single step or turn of the wheel can end in disaster. People avoid unnecessary travel even when supplies are low, choosing caution over risk. Many rely on radios and mobile alerts, listening closely for updates from emergency officials as conditions change by the hour. Inside their homes, residents focus on staying warm and conserving resources. They close off unused rooms, wear multiple layers of clothing, and gather in shared spaces to preserve heat. Candles and generators are used carefully, with constant attention to ventilation and fire safety. In the cold silence of a power outage, small decisions, how long to run a generator, when to eat, when to sleep, take on enormous importance. Perhaps most importantly, people look out for one another. Neighbors check on the elderly, those living alone, and families with young children. A simple knock on the door or a phone call can save a life. Communities share food, blankets, and warmth, turning isolation into connection even when the roads are impassable. Emergency responders and volunteers also play a critical role. They brave frozen roads to reach stranded motorists and vulnerable residents, delivering supplies and reassurance along with aid. Their presence reminds people that even in extreme conditions, they are not facing the storm alone. In winter emergencies, calm behavior, preparation, and compassion become powerful tools. These storms test not only infrastructure, but human character. And time and again, it is cooperation and care that help communities endure the cold and emerge stronger once the ice finally melts.